They were allowed anywhere and everywhere, except the dining room. But even then they used to get in there because what he'd done, there was the one wall of the dining room was windows, floor to ceiling. And he had made these amazing racing green silk curtains to do the full length. And as you walk in, with the curtains closed, you see all these little golden arches at the bottom where the cats have got into the dining room. The one that you see at the front is the one that the song was written about, Delilah. And out of all the cats he had, I mean, you all know how many he had and all of their names, but she, I mean, in his lifetime he had, I think, 9 under his control. Or he was under the control of 9 cats, sorry, have to get that proper. But she really was his favourite. She could do absolutely no wrong. She, you know, it was her house, it really was. And she, I mean, actually no, she didn't have a sweet temperament. She was a little cat. The sweet one was Miko, who was just this tiny little bundle of fur. I mean, she never grew huge. And Goliath is there in the background. He got the name Goliath because, as Freddie said, look, if she's called Delilah, the whole world is going to think I'm going to call him Samson. And he says, I'm not, he's Goliath. And he was the smallest little black cat you could ever see. But he was a wonderful temperament. He would spend hours round my neck, and you could sort of hear him purring. And then, because apparently it's something with black cats, they just dribble. If you stroke them, black cats dribble. And so there was all this dribble coming down my shoulder, but I didn't care. I loved him very, very much. He was beautiful. Next.
Where is he? Where is Delilah now?
I would imagine under the ground. Because you have to remember, Freddie actually died 17 and a half years ago, and the cats were 5, 6, 7 years old. So I actually did see her one time. I was in London 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, and I was down Logan Place, and I thought, why not? And I just rang on the doorbell, and Mary sort of, there was no buzzing, letting me in or anything. She came to the gate. I said, come in, just come in, sit down and we'll talk. And I went in, and it was inside was very similar to how it used to be. And I saw this sort of little cat over at the end of a settee. And I thought, wow, that looks like a sort of new kitten, looks like Delilah. And very slowly she got up and she sort of walked along the couch, because I was at the other end. And she just sort of sat there and lay down and put her head on my leg. And I looked, and I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. And Mary said, yes, that's her, it's Delilah. Because she just sort of shrunk, because she was old, you know? Like, hopefully, maybe one day I will, but no, and I spent sort of 2 or 3 hours with this wonderful cat with her head just sort of sitting, lying on my thigh, and just spent the time just stroking her. It was a wonderful feeling, wonderful.
Aww.
Right.